Welcome to your community. This is your hometown. This is Walton Entertainment. This is where you can hear from the community and those making a difference. We explore topics, local festivals, arts and entertainment, and local news. For this program and much more, visit us online at yourlocalstream.com. That's yourlocalstream.com.
Thank you for watching. I'm Dina Huff. I'm the executive director for the Partnership for Families Charity. And I'm here today at Faith in Serving Humanity with my bestest friend, Cindy Little, executive director of FISH. And this is our third day of collecting donated items for the hurricane relief victims. So I'm going to let Cindy tell you a little bit about what has come in, what's gone out, and what is still to come. So, Cindy?
Okay, first of all, thank you to the community. It has been overwhelming how much has been brought. It's just a steady stream, which we're very thankful for. We've already sent one truckload out yesterday with IMAC. We want to thank them for coming and getting that. And we're setting up to get a second load out. So that load is going down south to the folks in South Georgia. A lot of people don't understand the magnitude of what's happened. A lot of it is because we just can't get our heads wrapped around it, but farmers have lost thousands of acres of cotton crops, acres of pine trees. A lot of people don't consider pine trees as farming, but it is. And a lot of times that farmer can't insure pine trees. So we also heard of a friend of my husband's that had 20 chicken houses that were all leveled. That's millions of dollars gone for him. So, and that's just a little bit of what we see. And then when you go up to North Carolina, bless their little hearts, I mean, everything's just leveled. So when you say, well, Cindy, what do they need? They need everything. So basically what we're listening is, as we get the word, they're needing tents, they're needing charcoal, they're needing lighter fluid, they're needing baby diapers, baby formula, they're needing wipes and things like that, pop-top cans, because guys, they don't have can openers. There's, it's not anything like that. Protein bars, work gloves, as they do start rebuilding. They're going to need
first aid kits.
First aid kits, definitely. One of the things they're asking for is chewable Benadryl. Yeah. Because of the different things that they're dealing with through now the mold and things that are starting, because it's still staying pretty warm. So blankets are really good. They're saying no clothes. We learned through our efforts through Katrina, through Houston, and different places that we've helped before, that they say what happens is those items end up in the landfill. And so please hang on to your clothes. But if you have any kind of sleeping bags, blankets, those kinds of things, they definitely could use. So I'm just in awe of how generous everybody is. We were spared. And I think it's appropriate that those of us that were blessed to not get hit with it are the ones to help those that did get such devastation. We know God's in control. We know He loves us, and He says He'll never leave us nor forsake us. We cling to that. We pray for our friends, and that as they're trying to find family members and things, and the devastation and the loss of life, which is the worst part of it all. Whole families just wiped out. So continue with the prayers that they're priceless. These families have got a long way to go, and just pray for the helicopters that have been fantastic going in and dropping insulin to people, dropping supplies to people, airlifting people off what's left of their homes. We just pray for their safety. Pray for those that are taking their pack mules and things to get to people that they can't get to. They're on four-wheelers. Some families are having to hike 11 miles just to get up and check on their mom and dad. And so just so many wonderful things are happening, but at the same time, a whole lot of devastation. So thank you guys for all that you're doing. And we have a beautiful community here, a very giving community. And on behalf of Fish and the partnership, we say thank you and God bless.
Thank you all for showing up and showing out, because
Yes.
we've been working hard, but it's been worth it. It's been so worth it
Absolutely.
to work alongside of all of our partners that just come together when we have situations such as this. And we want to help, but this is how we can help right now.
Yeah.
So we'll find out what we can do later as well. So thank you all. I mean, it's so appreciative to know that you have a community that comes together in times of need like this. So
Absolutely.
we love you and we appreciate you.
Yes.
So thank you. And if you ever have any needs or questions for us at the partnership, you can always give me a call on my direct line. It's 770-207-3175. Or if you ever have any questions for Fish, reach out. They have a wonderful website you can go to, and you can volunteer even when there's not a disaster happening. They need volunteers consistently, every day,
Yes.
daily, because they get donations of household goods and other things, and just need volunteers in every aspect of the Fish ministry.
Hands and feet.
So, thank you, Cindy, for all that you do.
Well, thank you, Dina. Dina's been here working tirelessly these 2 days, and it's hot. But, that's nothing to what our friends in North Carolina and South Georgia are having to go through. So, God bless you guys, and thanks again.
Yes, thank you for watching.
Hi everybody, my name is Jake Connor. I'm the Family and Consumer Sciences agent here in Walton County. Today I wanted to highlight some of our upcoming radon programming. So if you have children between the ages of 9 and 14, we would love to have them enter our radon poster contest. Those submissions are due by November 1st. Folks can contact the office if they have any questions. Also, we would love for folks to come purchase a radon test. We have a few more left for $10. These tests can help you protect your family, as radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer and a really big problem here in Walton County. We encourage families to test their home once every 2 years, so if you've tested in the past, it may be time to test again. Thanks and have a great day.
Hi, I'm Vicki Gasaway, the Director for Walton County Senior Citizens here in Monroe, and we're happy to have you join us here today on Walton Wise. I want to tell you about a few things that are going on in case you're not aware. We actually have 3 sites in Walton County. One at Monroe as the home office here, and we have one in Loganville and in Social Circle as our satellite centers. We serve lunch Monday through Thursday, and then Friday is our non-traditional senior center, in which we go out and do Friday flings. We've done everything from going to J. Moore Farms to Farm View and Madison to having lunch or breakfast at one of our local establishments. Just a variety of things. We are going to movies. We're doing that on Friday. So we have a lot of things going on that if you're not one who might want to come in and just sit and do the activities that we have, and they're fun too, but you may want to come and do a Friday fling, so we'd welcome you for that. But just to tell you a little bit more, this Thursday, upcoming Thursday on the 10th, we'll be having a health fair here. Now, if you don't have insurance, if you're 60 or older, you qualify for senior services. So if you don't have insurance and you need a flu shot, and I recommend that everybody get that flu shot, because if you get it, and it can just wear your system down, and we need you to stay healthy so you can come and join in the fun with us. But we do offer the flu shots at no charge, but if you have insurance, bring those and we'll copy the front and back of that. The health department is going to be here administering those. We have people who will come from Walton, Piedmont Walton, and they're going to be doing the stroke screenings. We have blood pressure checks. We have somebody from Athens that's coming in to talk about assistive devices. So if you're having difficulty maybe with your vision and you have a problem with using the utensils, they have some ideas for you. There are so many things out there that you might not have thought about. So if you have a loved one that's going through that, or you are yourself, we welcome you to come down here that day. It's going to be between 8:30 and noon. And if you're here till noon, you need to stay and have lunch with us too. We cook those 4 days a week on site. And I think today we're having barbecue sandwiches and baked beans, coleslaw. So it's not shabby food, it's pretty good. So we'd welcome you to come in. We take a lot of trips throughout the year, overnight trips. So for example, this year we have been to Myrtle Beach. We take a short cruise to let people get the feel for whether they like that or not. We just got back from Savannah and spending a few days there, and that was a marvelous trip. I saw a lot of the historic area, just a lot of fun things going on. And then for New Year's, we're cruising to Hawaii. So we've got a lot of things. We have a lot of younger seniors here, and we have some seniors who just like to come in and eat and fellowship. So our place is built for you to do whatever you want to do. We've had pickleball going on. We have dances. So if you're not coming here, you're missing out on some fun. And we would welcome you to come in. If you are the spouse of somebody who is 60 or older, but you're not quite there, you can still join. So if you have any questions, we'd love for you to come down and check us out. Or you can call our phone number at 770-267-6589. We're just waiting here for you to have some fun with us, so come join us. Thanks so much for joining us today, and have a great one.
Hello, I'm Kenny Sargent with Keep Walton Beautiful in the Walton County Recycling Center. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Staying super busy here at the center. We're getting ready for our Rivers Alive event here in a few weeks, and excited about that. We'll report the numbers and volunteers and what all we got done with the event once we get through that. We've also already scheduled our America Recycles Day paint collection event. That will be Saturday, November 16th from 8 a.m. to noon right here at the Recycling Center. The prices for bringing in paint will remain the same again this year. It's $3 per gallon container of latex paint, $5 per gallon container of oil-based paint. We're going to try to advertise this the best we can. I know paint is one of those products that's super hard to get rid of. Nobody wants it. It's really a really good opportunity to get rid of your paint for a very cheap price. Any of you that have ever tried to get rid of it before and found someone to take it have probably found out how expensive it can be to properly get rid of your paint. So it is an excellent opportunity. Call us for any questions about the event that we can answer. But we are looking forward to it, and also we've just started trying to work out a date for getting another document destruction day scheduled. Haven't done that yet, but we'll keep you posted on that one going forward. So be on the lookout for that. And the other thing, I guess I just wanted to mention was it's getting to be that time of year. People are starting to get up leaves, cut back their crepe myrtles and all of that. And I can tell you we've already had to turn around a ton of cars that are coming through here trying to bring us those items. And just a reminder, we cannot accept leaves, limbs, grass clippings, any of that stuff can't be accepted here. They simply won't take it from us. So we're having to turn around vehicles and send them to the nearest inert landfill in the county. So just a reminder, all those yard debris and stuff like that, they have to go to an inert landfill. Give us a call if you don't know which direction to take off to find one or whatever. We can direct you to the nearest one to you. Again, our number down here is 770-267-1421. Be happy to help you out with that. Be happy to answer any questions you have about environmental questions, litter, any of that. We'd love to get you started recycling. So come out and see us. Give us a call. We look forward to keeping you updated on our cleanups coming up and our events that we're trying to get scheduled. And until next time, take care.
Hi, I'm Jody Johnson. I'm here with another recreation report. I hope that you've registered for your basketball season coming up. If your child wanted to play basketball, we have finished registration. If you call one of our local offices and see if they have a spot available for you, there may be a couple here and there that we could fill in, a couple of rosters, but a lot of our evaluations and practices are about to start here in a couple weeks. So if you do get this and your child wants to play basketball, call quick and we'll see if we can get you on a team. So we have about close to 750 people that have registered that'll be going through that process here in the next week or two. A lot of our fall sports, we had to stop a little bit from the storm coming in, so we missed a couple of days there. We're trying to make up some of those games, but before the school goes on fall break, the second week in October, we'll be finishing all of our fall sports except for our football and cheerleading program, and a lot of that will end up the 1st of November. So we have a lot of fall sports that are coming to an end, and as the weather starts to cool down, it's a great time to go out to the park. So I would encourage everyone, find a park near you on our website. You can go out and you can walk on some of our nature trails and outdoor trails. We try to keep those up the best we can this time of year with all the leaves starting to fall and some limbs coming out. So be careful if you're out in some of those areas. So we appreciate going to our website at waltoncountyga.gov. It's the best place to get all the information. Some of our leisure programs that we're doing, we've just finished I think it's our 3rd craft fair. We had one down in Social Circle and a lot of people came to that. We had close to 30 different vendors that come out and made different crafts and wanted to display those, and you can purchase some of that stuff from those guys, so it's very exciting with the craft fair. The Crystal Park pickleball courts are still under construction. We're getting real close. They're just about to, they ended up adding to the remodel of that entire building, so it's taking a little longer to finish. And then the county's having a countywide meeting there in the next week or so. So the end of October, beginning of November, we should finally go in and put the pickleball courts down on the surface, and that's when we'll have those available for you. I know it's been really tough sometimes to go out to Between or to Crystal Park and get on a court just anytime. So when the weather's good in the morning and the weather's great in the evening, that's when people want to play, and that's what brings out the big crowd. So if you're wanting to play pickleball, this time of year it's not too bad in the middle of the day. On the weekends you can usually get on the courts, but I have heard there's a big wait. But we are constructing more courts. We've got 8 more that we're going to build in Between, and then in the new Walnut Grove Park there will be 6 more going in there, including the 4 that we're going to have indoors at Crystal Park. So in total we'll have close to 20 pickleball courts coming soon. It's going to probably take another year to get all those done, but we realize pickleball is really growing sport, and everybody enjoys playing and getting a little exercise while you're doing it. So other than that, we don't have our Walnut Grove Park is probably the only other project that we have going on that we're continually working on each week. We've got several crews out there working as we go. It's probably going to be until next October, November before the entire park is done, but they are going up with the community center now. The concession building's done. By January they'll start laying down the turf athletic field, so you'll start seeing some things going that you can see. Right now there's a lot of stuff going underground, like the sewers and the septic and the water lines, stuff like that you really can't see, but all those things are being done now before we start putting the permanent structures up. I do want to thank the Kiwanis Club of Monroe. They added a small playground there at Crystal Park, so if you go out to Crystal Park right in front of the concession stand, you'll see a small area that was really an eyesore at the park, but we wanted to do something for the younger kids. So this is a 4 and under playground. We took some old turf and turfed that area, and we're going to fence it in and put some shade areas on top of it. So I appreciate the Kiwanis Club donating the playground equipment for that, and I think the parents of that area is where our younger kids normally play anyway, so they usually have younger siblings. Instead of going to the large playground where they might get hurt or older kids are at, they're able to have their own playground. So thank you to the Kiwanis Club of Monroe for donating that. And again, go to our website at waltoncountyga.gov. We'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Monroe Walton Center for the Arts. We have our regional art show in here right now. This was the best in show. It's chosen by the judge for this show. This is by Julie Briggs. She's a new artist to us. She's a young mom, just fabulous artist. So come see this show. It's here through October 24th. And then we'll be kind of in a transition period. We'll be turning the whole gallery into a Christmas shop. And then that will open on November 1st. Of course, you can come in between that time and still shop and preview and see what we have going on. But do please come in and see this show. Several pieces have already sold. So when you come and you see a little red dot on a tag, that means that piece is sold. But do come. It's just a fabulous show. And it's only here for a couple of more weeks. And then we go into Christmas, which is just unbelievable. So a new thing that we have here is we have a wall where we have posters set up with all of our classes. Not all of them. I'm telling y'all, we have so many classes right now. In October, it's just exploded. So I don't even have enough room on my little wall that has the classes on it for everything we have going on. But we've created these little posters. So if you come in to the main lobby area, you can see these, and of course you can click with your camera on these QR codes. It will take you to the registration for more information if you want it. But of course we have Fall Fest coming up this October 12th. We'll be here. We'll have some concessions here. We'll have pop-up shops out front with our artists. We'll have also some artists in the garden. We'll have some workshops. We'll have 2 workshops. We'll have a pottery workshop, making a mummy, a votive candle holder, and then a collage workshop. So, and they're both drop-in, so easy and fun. Just come in and see what we have going on. If you want to make something, you're welcome to stay and make something. So that is, of course, October 12th. And then on the 19th, we're having a barbecue fundraiser for our pottery studio. If you wonder why we do that so often, our pottery studio sees 60 plus students every month, more than that probably. Over the course of the month, many times over that. So the kilns are in constant use. They have to be repaired. We're replacing one of the kilns, so there's equipment, there's tools that constantly have to be replaced or repaired. And so we have to have these fundraisers so that our pottery classes are affordable and also giving you some really, really good homemade food. So that is coming up on October 19th. And as a companion workshop for that day, we'll be having this monster mug workshop with Rebecca. On New with Us is a kids mini camp during fall break. If you're interested in that, it's during the Walton County fall break from October 14th through 18th. Need to register soon because we're going to cut off registration by the end of the week. And so we need people to go ahead and be registered. Another new offering that we have is a homeschool art day. And that will be kind of an art club, and we'll have the kids separated by different ages. and it'll be once a month to start with. If it catches on, we may do it more often than that, but right now it's going to be on the first Monday of the month. You do need to pre-register. Of course, everything is either on these posters. You can come in and register. You can register online. You can go to our website, monroewaltonarts.org, and see what we have going on. This is our art party with Donna. She's concentrating right now mostly on watercolors, and this one is in October. It's October 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. You can bring some wine if you'd like to, a snack to share with other people. It's a lot of fun, very relaxed. And she's doing these feather watercolor wreaths on October 25th, almost done. On October 25th, Jennifer is having her paint party. She does acrylics. Hers is more the typical paint along where you have a specific project. You can tailor it with the colors that you choose and make it your own. But for October, she's doing this little ghost that's in the forest, just real sweet, cute. So come and see what we have going on a lot, honestly, in October, and then we're gearing up for Christmas and going to present to you a great gift gallery for Christmas time. But don't miss this show. That's probably my most important point. Is this is our regional show. This is more of our fine art, really beautiful, beautiful pieces in the show. So come see us. Thank you.
Today we are excited to have Lance Young with us to give us the top 5 labor laws that we all need to know. Lance serves as the Chief Human Resource Officer for the Walton County School District. He is a graduate of Leadership Walton and currently serves on the Walton Chamber Board of Directors. Let's welcome Lance.
Good afternoon, everybody. How about now? All right, much better. Okay. All right. I first wanted to thank the Chamber for the opportunity to come and talk about something that spends a lot of time in my life, and that's labor laws and the things that sort of impact people in business, no matter big or small, or what type of industry you're in. Terry asked me to talk about 5 in 25 minutes, and I'm going to do the very best I can. I really think these are laws that are the ones really to watch if you are really interested about being in compliance and treating people the right way. So the 5 that I've picked encompass a really wide range of topics, from the overtime threshold that is brand new to pregnant workers, all the way over to banning non-competes in the workplace. So we're going to hop right in to the new overtime threshold. So most of us know that there are particular people that work with our companies that are eligible for overtime. Since 1938, the laws have been put forth to try and really protect workers and pay them for an honest day's work. So we've had some real interesting changes. Where we're coming from prior to July of this year, if you had a salaried employee on your staff that was earning less than $35,568, that employee was eligible for overtime. Okay, that was prior to this past July. As of the 1st of July this year, that same worker would now have to earn less than $43,888. So you can see that there's been a jump. So what this means is if you've got a person that you are claiming is a salaried employee and they make less than $43,800, that person is now eligible for overtime. They have not stopped, because once we get into the new year, that number jumps from 43.8 up to 58.6. So you can see from July 1st, or just prior, we have moved over $20,000 in folks that were not eligible for overtime that will now be eligible for time and a half. So what are the implications? There's several. If you work in HR and or payroll, I think the first implication is that you take a very detailed look at who you are calling salaried and look at what they make, because you might be out of compliance already, and by the first of the year, you may really be out of compliance in terms of people that you say, well, no, you're salaried, so we pay you a salary, right? I think the second issue that we will see folks do is this. Well, we're going to say you go from admin assistant to office manager. So we're going to change your name and you're part of management now. That won't work. That is something that I know organizations will try to do to sort of skirt around having to pay overtime. And the last thing you want is a Fair Labor Standards violation. I come from Fulton County schools prior to working here in Walton for the last 8 years, and you lose. I will guarantee you that is a suit you will lose. And the funny thing about those type of lawsuits is you might owe that person $6,000. But typically what the courts do is you pay actual damages and then you pay punitive damages. And punitive damages are also, those are the shame on you damages. They typically are higher than what you actually would have owed the person in the first place. So big changes in overtime. That word salaried is something that you have to be very careful how you toss around. There are asterisks by salaried because there are exceptions. So if you are in the computer, anybody in the computer industry, IT, software, that kind of stuff, that's typically the first industry that has a lot of exceptions to these rules. The other big one is the film industry. If any of you are attached to the film and movie, that comes with a lot of exceptions. So there are some exceptions, but they're not that many. They're not that many. So something to certainly be aware of the new overtime thresholds. All right, so we go from money to religion. So back in 1977, there was a person who worked for an airline who went to his employer and said, hey, I would like every Sunday off in order to observe the Sabbath in accordance with my religious beliefs. And the company denied that and said, no, that's unreasonable. We're an airline. We certainly don't close on weekends, so we can't do that. So that's kind of where it's set from 1977 until 2024. So the recent case, the Groff case, almost deja vu. Groff was an employee of the United States Post Office. He had the exact same request. I'd like Sundays off to celebrate or honor the Sabbath in accordance with my religious beliefs. And the Postal Service agreed. They gave him the Sundays off. After a period of time, they came back and they realized this is causing an undue hardship. We also know Post Office, they've been in the news lately. They can't get the mail to us quick enough. So we know they don't close on Saturdays and Sundays. They came back and said, hey, we can't do this any longer. It's unreasonable. So what do we think Groff did? He walked to his neighborhood courthouse, he filed suit, and the lower court supported the post office. They found that the decision that the post office had made was legal. So that wasn't good enough for Groff. Guess what he did next? He goes to DC. This makes it all the way up the chain to the Supreme Court. And about 4 months ago, the Supreme Court reversed the decision of the lower courts and said, we don't find the cost were de minimis enough, which is just a Latin term that says this is so small of an issue for you that it would not be considered an undue hardship. So they awarded Groff the religious accommodation that he asked for. How many of you have businesses that are open on Sundays? And imagine if your workers said, you know what? I can't work on Sunday. Under my religious accommodations rights, you'd at least have to consider that. So the major implication here is this term de minimis, which you certainly don't have to remember, but just think that the bar for you to prove as an employer that the accommodation is unreasonable and is causing undue hardship, that bar has gotten higher to meet. So simply stating that, hey, we're open on Sundays, so we can never accommodate this, will not work anymore. So I don't work in an organization that is open on Sunday, but I can imagine if I did, this may create a problem. Now, what restaurant do we know that always opens Saturday through Saturday? Who's closed on Sunday? Chicken Fillet, that's right. Now that's legal, right? We're closed on Sunday. So, you know, that's a different schedule. That's a schedule that obviously accommodates Sundays off. But what if your Sabbath is Saturday? Now even Chick-fil-A has to answer a few questions. So, and obviously the world is becoming more and more mixed. You know, you have people that celebrate and honor their religion. It doesn't necessarily have to be on a Sunday. So this is something that I think organizations will have to struggle with a little bit more than we are right now. So, and you see how long it took. I mean, that's a long stretch of time, but it finally, in this Groff case, has given way. All right, anybody know what a non-compete is? All right, sir, tell us what a non-compete is. Yes. Does anybody in here work in an industry where non-competes are common? Okay, a few of us. I've had one non-compete in my career. I was in my 20s and I signed it. I don't really think I knew what it was when I signed it. So, yes, the gentleman is correct. So 30 million people in this country are covered under non-competes, okay? And I think personally, they've been very employer focused. So I think the key is they don't want to lose an employee to a competitor. Just this week, I have my best friend's wife is an executive with Papa John's Pizza, and she was recruited by Domino's, obviously another big player in that world. And the issue was the non-compete. So they agreed on what's called a non-disclosure, which means you can't tell Domino's what our 11 herbs and spices are. We don't want to lose that secret, but we'll let you go. So, but as of about 60 days ago, the Federal Trade Commission banned non-competes. So the needle has sort of shifted from the employer side of things to the employee. There's much more of an employee focus. And what the Federal Trade Commission said was the ban protects the fundamental freedom that we have to simply go get another job. You know, they felt like a non-compete gets in the way of that fundamental freedom. They also guess that it will create upwards to 8,000 more businesses a year because you're not holding people under those non-competes. Now, this is fresh off the press. This is probably not 40, 50 days old. So what do you think is going to happen now? your big businesses are going to go to the courthouse. And they're going to file injunctions and all kinds of suits, and it will probably be another 2 to 3 years before the dust starts to really clear on this whole concept of a non-compete. But if you do work in an industry where non-competes are sort of normal, you're in for the next 3 years will probably be a bit turbulent. And there's a sense that this only impacts executives. That's not true. I was far away from being an executive when I was 25 and signed a non-compete. For those of you who are old enough and remember the Olympics back in '96, Ronstad, the staffing company, was the main staffer for the Olympics. And it was one of the very first jobs I had in HR. So I signed a non-compete. They didn't want me going to Manpower and Adecco and the other big players back then. And I signed it. I mean, I needed a job. I didn't, it wasn't like I was power brokering my way around the staffing industry at that point in my life. So, but this does impact people outside of that executive realm of businesses as well. So, all right. The next one. This is one I'd never heard of, and I found that anytime I see the word bipartisan, I usually stop and read. So the Employer Participation in Repayment Act is a bipartisan effort to permanently extend the Employer Participation Act beyond January 26. So let's talk a little bit about what this is. So during our COVID era, there were lots of relief efforts, and one of those efforts were that the government allowed business to pay up to $5,250 to their employees for the purposes of student loan repayment. Now, we've all heard of student loan forgiveness, but this one I had not heard of. And I work in the public sector, so this would probably not push into the public sector. But for those of you in the private world, you currently have the ability to legally pay your staff members up to $5,250 a year for the sole purpose of student loan repayment. So I believe a Republican out of Virginia is leading this charge, but has a lot of bipartisan support to make this provision permanent. So as a company, you would be allowed to pay a maximum annually to employees of $5,250 for the purposes of student loan repayment. So what are the obvious implications? Well, obviously, you benefit millions of Americans with this benefit. I read something recently that said the student loan debt in this country has topped $1 trillion. So clearly there are those of us in the room that might be interested in a benefit like this, or have kids that might be interested in this benefit. It is also going to, in general, be a business expense write-off if your business chooses to do this. Another implication, it's a heck of a way to attract people. If my business offers $2,500 a year toward your student loan and I'm competing against your business and you don't do that, in modern times, that might be the tipping point in terms of how I can attract you. I think the other implication is that I can do this every year. So not only can I attract you, I can keep you. They have done a recent survey, and 86% of the people, almost 9 out of 10, said I would commit to the organization for 5 years if they did this. And I don't know, in modern times, if we get a 5-year commitment from an employee, that's like 25 years used to be, right? So this one I had never heard of. It will be interesting to see if this passes. This is set to sunset in 2026. Currently, about 15% of business is utilizing this. So if this becomes permanent, I would think that you're going to see that percentage grow. okay? And last but not least, the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. So this dropped in April of this year, and I think most of us know, most of us get nervous when someone comes to work pregnant. You know, should we touch the person? Should we comment on your belly? Should we shorten your hours? I mean, typically a pregnant woman in a room full of particularly working men, you just sort of don't know what to do. So this expansion on how we treat pregnant workers should make us maybe even a little more nervous. Because what this has touched is what is a reasonable accommodation, and I put that word in quotes because HR people and employment lawyers, you're going to hear, is this a reasonable accommodation? And this expands not only to the pregnant worker, but the pregnant applicant, okay? So years and years ago, when my 24-year-old was not yet here, I remember telling my wife, go to the interview. Please go. She was nervous because she was pregnant. And I said, trust me, wobble in there, knock a chair over, just be theatrical because the people on the other side of the table are going to get nervous. She got the job, okay? So this also swells out into people who don't have the jobs, who are applying. But there's that word undue hardship, those two words again. So the secret in this is what's reasonable. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Who does this impact? If you have 15 or more employees, you're in on this. Now, if you have 9 employees, I'm not telling you to go mistreat pregnant people. Okay, that's not the implication here. But if you have 15 or more, you are in the spotlight. And I would say that is a lion's share of organizations. And what's included? This is what makes this grayer than it might have already been for us. So pregnancy, I think we all know what that is, childbirth or related conditions. Now we start getting into the gray pieces. That could be everything from an uncomplicated pregnancy, which that's what we all hope and pray for, all the way over to postpartum depression. That's a very wide spectrum. And now you get into things like, well, you know, what do you do for someone suffering from postpartum? The secret now becomes what is actually reasonable. And the answer is, it depends. What I can share with you is the result is probably what you think is reasonable today. Expand that. You're probably too narrow. This could lead to everything from longer breaks, to uniform changes, to teleworking. And I work in an industry where that is taboo. Okay? Working from home in public K-12 education is like a unicorn with stripes. And my advice, and I don't have much longer, but my advice to the energetic 30-year-old who's coming up, put on your helmet because teleworking is not going to go away. And it wasn't a COVID thing. I think COVID just sort of pushed it farther up in the line. But now, if that employee comes to you and says, I can't work from this office, but I can do this from my kitchen table, I'm not telling you to automatically grant it. I'm telling you, think about it. Listen to what your HR head, your employment attorney might have to say about that, because all of a sudden, and this is specific to pregnant workers, that might be found reasonable. Work schedule. I had this one come to me this year. I'm pregnant. The pregnancy is normal, but I would like my work schedule changed. I denied it because I felt safe that for the industry that I'm in and what this person did for a living, I thought I could win the argument that it would cause an undue hardship. If I'm a teacher and I need to come to work at 9 o'clock, that's a problem, because the buses drop kids 2 hours earlier than that. Now that's different in different industries. And it could be different in the same industry with a different job, okay? If I'm the maintenance person, I might be able to swing my start time and it not have any undue hardship on the work that that person or that team does. So the key here is, for most of us, we're going to have to sort of broaden probably what we've known and thought was reasonable through time. So, closing thoughts, I'll just say compliance is not always easy. My first advice is to be sure and hire and or consult the right experts. This is complicated, and most people get it wrong. And if you are not living and breathing in this world, you may very well be doing something that you think is right, but obviously you're sort of stepping in it. So getting the right type of expert around you. I'm having some major home renovation done, and I realize just how bad I am with a hammer. I've seen what some of these people do, and I think, yeah, this is worth what I'm paying you, because we would probably be falling through the floor if I had tried some of this on my own. My second piece of advice is we all have a moral compass. We all have things that we believe are right and ought to be. And sometimes that just does not align with what the law is. I live in Atlanta. I commute 1 hour to get to Monroe. And there are people that believe, I think in the bottom of their hearts, that the speed limit is 97 miles an hour. It isn't, okay? It isn't. That is not the law. So there are things that we believe in. We get up in the morning, we bring that bag with us to work. We're all guilty of it. I would say that just be mindful that what's in that bag may not always align with what the actual law is. So you have to sort of reconcile the two. And then finally, I would say don't get comfortable. I think the trend in labor law is a perpetual motion. It just doesn't stop moving. And I tend to think that I started in the workplace during FMLA and ADA. Those were the two big boy presidential laws back in the early 90s. And I look at the expansion of both FMLA and ADA, just those two big, furry, complicated laws. They're much broader today, 7 years later, than they were when they were originally written. So don't get comfortable. These things, as we know, are impacted by a number of things: our politics, our technology, and just time. You know, what we thought was okay in 1950, we probably will not think is okay in 2050. And over time, you figure if we have to work 30 plus years, something's bound to change in the things that protect people in the workplace. So I'll stop there. Thank you very much for your time. I've put my contact information up there in case anybody wants to talk. I live and breathe this stuff when I go on vacation. These are the kind of magazines I read. So I would love to hear any questions, any thoughts with these top 5. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for watching. I'm Dina Huff. I'm the executive director for the Partnership for Families, Children, and Youth. And I'm here today at Faith in Serving Humanity with my bestest friend, Cindy Little, executive director of FISH. And this is our third day of collecting donated items for the hurricane relief victims. So I'm going to let Cindy tell you a little bit about what has come in, what's gone out, and what is still to come. So, Cindy?
Okay, first of all, thank you to the community. It has been overwhelming how much has been brought. It's just a steady stream, which we're very thankful for. We've already sent one truckload out yesterday with IMAC. We want to thank them for coming and getting that. And we're setting up to get a second load out. So that load is going down south to the folks in South Georgia. A lot of people don't understand the magnitude of what's happened. A lot of it's because we just can't get our heads wrapped around it, but farmers have lost thousands of acres of cotton crops, acres of pine trees. A lot of people don't consider pine trees as farming, but it is. And a lot of times that farmer can't insure pine trees. So we also heard of a friend of my husband's that had 20 chicken houses that were all leveled. That's millions of dollars gone for him. So, and that's just a little bit of what we see. And then when you go up to North Carolina, bless their little hearts, I mean, everything's just leveled. So when you say, well, Cindy, what do they need? They need everything. So basically what we're listening is, as we get the word, they're needing tents, they're needing charcoal, they're needing lighter fluid, they're needing baby diapers, baby formula, they're needing wipes and things like that, pop-top cans, because guys, they don't have can openers. There's, it's not anything like that. Protein bars, work gloves, as they do start rebuilding. They're going to need
first aid kits.
First aid kits, definitely. One of the things they're asking for is chewable Benadryl. Yeah. Because of the different things that they're dealing with through now the mold and things that are starting, because it's still staying pretty warm. So blankets are really good. They're saying no clothes. We learned through our efforts through Katrina, through Houston and different places that we've helped before, that they say what happens is those items end up in the landfill. And so please hang on to your clothes. But if you have any kind of sleeping bags, blankets, those kinds of things, they definitely could use. So I'm just in awe of how generous everybody is. We were spared. And I think it's appropriate that those of us that were blessed to not get hit with it are the ones to help those that did get such devastation. We know God's in control. We know He loves us, and He says He'll never leave us nor forsake us. We cling to that. We pray for our friends, and that as they're trying to find family members and things, and the devastation and the loss of life, which is the worst part of it all. Whole families just wiped out. So continue with the prayers that they're priceless. These families have got a long way to go, and just pray for the helicopters that have been fantastic going in and dropping insulin to people, dropping supplies to people, airlifting people off what's left of their homes. We just pray for their safety. Pray for those that are taking their pack mules and things to get to people that they can't get to. They're on four-wheelers. Some families are having to hike 11 miles just to get up and check on their mom and dad. And so just so many wonderful things are happening, but at the same time, a whole lot of devastation. So thank you guys for all that you're doing. And we have a beautiful community here, a very giving community. And on behalf of FISH and the partnership, we say thank you and God bless.
Thank you all for showing up and showing out, because
Yes.
we've been working hard, but it's been worth it. It's been so worth it
Absolutely.
to work alongside of all of our partners that just come together when we have situations such as this. And we want to go, we want to help, but this is how we can help right now.
Yeah.
So we'll find out what we can do later as well. So thank you all. I mean, it's so appreciative to know that you have a community that comes together in times of need like this. So
Absolutely.
we love you and we appreciate you.
Yes.
So thank you. And if you ever have any needs or questions for us at the partnership, you can always give me a call on my direct line. It's 770-207-3175. Or if you ever have any questions for fish, reach out. They have a wonderful website you can go to, and you can volunteer even when there's not a disaster happening. They need volunteers consistently, every day,
Yes.
daily, because they get donations of household goods and other things, and just need volunteers in every aspect of the fish ministry.
Hands and feet.
Thank you, Cindy, for all that you do.
Well, thank you, Dina. Dina's been here working tirelessly these 2 days, and it's hot. But, that's nothing to what our friends in North Carolina and South Georgia are having to go through. So, God bless you guys, and thanks again.
Yes, thank you for watching.
This is where you can hear from the community and those making a difference. We explore topics, local festivals, arts and entertainment, and local news. For this program and much more, visit us online at yourlocalstream.com. That's yourlocalstream.com.